Coming up, torrential downpour. Team coverage of South Louisiana is hit with driving rains and strong winds. Plus, framing the future, why Baton Rouge police hope this room could lead to a safer city. And gone to Glendale, the Tigers are Arizona bound for their first ever trip to the Fiesta Bowl.
Live and Baton Rouge proud. You're watching Local 33 News at 6.
Well, happening now, the rain starting to let up after a downpour for most of the afternoon across South Louisiana, leaving many roads underwater. You're seeing a live look at radar right now. And with that being said, let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel with a look at your storm tracker forecast. Jesse.
And just again, matter of just probably about seconds ago, they've allowed that tornado watch to expire across the board. When you look at the big picture here, we've still got a lot of rainfall that extends well out into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this rainfall not as intense as earlier today. Now, we may see a pocket or two of about a half an inch, maybe an inch of rainfall as we extend ourselves into the overnight hours early into tomorrow. We're still sitting underneath a flash flood watch until 6 a.m. on Friday. Still a flash flood warning in place until 7:45 for much of the surrounding area. As you notice, we've got a couple thunderstorms out there with a little bit of lightning, but at least the threat for severe weather, we're talking tornadoes and straight line winds, that has come to an end. Large hail, I don't think is no longer a concern. It's still that possibility, however, of heavy rainfall. We're going to continue to see a lot of runoff tonight, and that's why water on roadways still a concern out there. We're still going to look for some pockets. You see, we've got a lot more rain starting to fill again around Acadiana, and eventually that's going to inch closer to us ahead of that next cold front until tomorrow morning. That cold front really doesn't push through the viewing area until probably 6 a.m. and that's when we're going to see a little bit of a lull from the rainfall going into your Friday very early on Saturday. Notice East Baton Rouge, West Baton Rouge, Livingston, and St. Helena still underneath that flash flood warning until 7:45. A lot of areas had even up to about 5 inches of rainfall today. Still the possibility of another inch or two ahead of us. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit. Deon?
All right, Jesse. Well, with that line of storms rolling through this afternoon, several Baton Rouge roads were underwater, causing major problems for drivers. Local 33's Crystal Whitman joins us live now with what it's looking like right now. Crystal.
Hey, Deon, that's right. Good evening to you. We're live along the Governor's Mansion curve, so I'm going to step aside so you can see how the traffic is going right now for us this evening. You can see that traffic is going pretty much normal, but earlier today, just a few minutes ago, the Louisiana Department of Transportation has issued that the water is starting to recede right now at this time. Some of the areas that were actually impacted by the water earlier today included the US 190 at Old Mississippi River Bridges, areas along right here. This is I-110, Nicholson, the Acadian underpass. We were just there earlier in our newscast around 5, as well as Chippewa. Again, whether at this time or any other time, be careful to avoid those flooded areas.
If you see flooding, or at least come into a flood-prone area, don't assume that it's low water. Assume that it's a high water. Just turn around, don't drown. We always say that any time, because any vehicle, even a truck, can get picked up by a little amount of water. It can, knock that truck away, or a car.
And we'll definitely have those areas for you to look out for, those roads that have a little bit of water on them on brproud.com. And of course, remember that it is against the law to use your wiper blades without using your headlights as well. We're going to have all that information for you on our website. That's brproud.com. Deon, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Where there are flooding issues in Zachary right now. Local 33's Tisha Mazinga continues our live team coverage with one house surrounded by water. Tisha.
Yeah, Deon, that's right. I'm actually at the porch of this lady's house, and as you just said, her house is surrounded by water. I'm actually going to give you a look of how deep the water is. I'm going to step down here, and we are just at the few steps in front of this house, and the water is so deep right at this point. I'm not going to make it too unsafe for me, but the water is right here at my ankles. Now, if you take a look to the left of her house where her cousins live, and we spoke to those people over there, the water is so deep that it reaches to your knees. No joke. And there's no telling what is inside of that water. We're talking about moccasins and snapping turtles. They've seen it all. Now, if you're in those conditions, they are asking people to stay inside. Also, when it comes to the roads, many roads in the Zachary area are closed because the waters are so high. So some drivers had to even pull over on the interstate on the way here because it's not worth it. So if that's you, I would avoid driving until things clear out. There's even water rushing out of manholes, and there's also sandbag locations that closed right now, but they are, we did see some people still over there. And if you plan to go to those sandbag locations, if you're in the Zachary area, it's going to be at the Doyle's Bayou Park. That's going to be on Port Hudson Pride Road, and they did say it's going to be happen till 6, but they're also saying that they are going to they want people to bring their shovels, and they also want people to be sure that they stay safe under these conditions. So, John, that's it for me. Back to you.
Right, Tisha Mazinga there for us. Now, take a look at this video of what not to do during road flooding. This is River Road near downtown, right under the Mississippi River Bridge. Our cameras caught that car. You saw it attempting to drive through the water that the road completely covered. Then that driver thought better of it and started backing up to get out. This is just an example of what not to do when trying to drive through high water. Several other cars tried to do the same thing, backing out of those high water conditions. Now, there are sandbag locations around East Baton Rouge Parish right now if you still need them. This is video from the Hartley Park at Gardier location. You, of course, will need to bring your own shovel if you do need one of these sandbags. That full list of sandbag locations is posted right now on our website, brproud.com, and you can find it on the BR Proud app. Unfortunately, some sad news to talk about out of Tangipahoa Parish, where deputies say a 58-year-old woman was killed when high winds knocked a tree onto her trailer. It happened around 11 last night in Ponchatoula. The sheriff says Roxanne Kleebert died in her home. Police believe she was asleep at the time that tree fell on the top of her roof. And in North Louisiana, a tornado warning was issued this morning in Franklin Parish. Crews at our station in Monroe shot this video of downed trees and even a damaged church. The National Weather Service has not yet confirmed if this damage was caused by a tornado. And we, of course, will continue to monitor the storm system throughout the night. The Storm Tracker weather team is watching the updates minute by minute. You can also stay ahead of the storm by going to our website. That's brproud.com, and you can always download the BR Proud app, and you can take the weather with you. An update tonight in the crime tracker. Baton Rouge police looking for a murder suspect tonight. Police are looking for the man they say shot and killed 42-year-old Vernon Covington yesterday afternoon on Washington Avenue. You may remember we first brought you this story last night at 6. Investigators say Covington and another man got into an argument when the man shot and killed Covington. If you can help police identify and arrest the person responsible for this murder, call Crime Stoppers. That number is 344-STOP. The Baton Rouge Police Department is in the process of launching a real-time crime center. The plan here is to get officers on the ground with as much information as possible, as fast as possible. Local 33's Amber Smith explains how this could improve safety in the parish.
This room at BRPD headquarters is transforming to a new state-of-the-art real-time crime center. While it's a work in progress right now, soon it will look more like this, with screens on the wall displaying real-time crime data.
The integrated software brings together all of the different systems that we use, whether it's CAD, our report management system, jail management system, our crime cameras, LPRs, which is license plate readers, all those different assets.
Chief Murphy Paul has been pushing for this technology since he took office in an effort to crack down on crime in the capital city. The department hopes this new center and technology will help officers cut down response times.
The Real-Time Crime Center actually intercepts that information as it's going out into the field, and the integrated software brings up all of those different assets in a radius around that particular call for service.
Getting all of that information to officers on the streets before they even arrive on scene can help everyone stay safe.
So it enables people within the Real-Time Crime Center to assist that officer while he's en route and give him critical information that may be necessary to either make an apprehension for officer safety, safety of the citizens, you name it.
For Local 33, I'm Amber Smith.
The Baton Rouge Police Department hopes to have the center along with the new computer-aided dispatch system up and running sometime in the spring. Coming up, Fiesta Flight. LSU taking off today for a big New Year's matchup against UCF. Go Nation talks to the Tigers as they head to Glendale. Plus,
I'm Jessica Smith in Washington, where we're in day 6 of a partial government shutdown. I'll have the latest on the negotiations to reopen the government coming up.
As day 6 of the partial government shutdown drags on, both the House and Senate are back in session, but it's unclear if anything will happen to end the partial government shutdown. Local 33's Jessica Smith explains.
The House will be in order.
The House and Senate were briefly back in session after the holiday, but some lawmakers did not even return to Washington. No deal is in sight, and House Republicans notified members late Thursday there would be no votes this week.
We need a wall.
6 days into a partial government shutdown, and neither side is backing down. While visiting troops in Iraq, President Trump re-upped his demand for $5 billion to fund his border wall in order to end the shutdown.
So when you say how long is it going to take, when are they going to say that we need border security? When are the Democrats going to say?
But Democratic Senator Dick Durbin says ending the shutdown is President Trump's responsibility.
Durbin tweeted in part, hundreds of thousands of federal employees remain without pay during the holidays because of his reckless demand for a medieval border wall. This will end when the president and Republicans want it to. On Thursday, the Office of Personnel Management released draft letters to help federal employees who are not getting paid during the shutdown. The letters give workers an outline to negotiate with their landlords and creditors. The new Congress starts on January 3rd, and if lawmakers don't come to a deal soon, President Trump will have to negotiate with the Democratic House in order to end the shutdown. In Washington, I'm Jessica Smith.
And new details on the government shutdown on Local 33 News at 10. What Senator John Kennedy says he's doing to end it, plus how Governor John Bel Edwards says the shutdown is impacting us here in Louisiana. All right, traffic not being too much impacted right now by the weather. Jesse, it's really flowing right now for a change.
Yeah, again, we're starting to see the roadways open up a little bit at this hour. 110 was closed because of high water. That low spot just before you get to the governor's mansion, it was filled, but a lot of that water has already drained, and now things are looking pretty good out there. The roads are still a little bit wet in some spots. We're still expecting more rainfall overnight, so just make sure you buckle up and drive safely this evening. This traffic has been sponsored by the Murphy Law Firm. Well, here you go, big picture outside, live sky cam looking at some cloudy skies. We've still got a couple more storms on the way. Luckily for us, they won't be as intense. We're still sitting pretty mild at 64. We're going to have your complete weekend forecast coming up right after this break.
And now, your Storm Tracker team forecast with Jesse Gunkel.
Welcome back. Well, showers continue to pump into the capital area. We had that heavy and very intense rainfall late morning, early afternoon, and a lot of that even continued into early evening. Good news is a lot of that heavier rainfall has shifted towards the east. That is going to be our main concern for tonight. The threat of severe weather, we're talking tornadoes and high winds and large hail, that has diminished. So we're going to at least settle down in that department. But again, there is that possibility for a lot more rainfall tonight. Now, again, we're not calling for multiple inches of rainfall, but we could see another half an inch to an inch of rain as we move into the overnight, and that will be the concern just because we've got a lot of standing water out there at this point, and we're still going to be seeing a lot of runoff as we head into the morning hours of tomorrow. As you notice right now, again, we've still got some heavy rainfall out there, mainly around I-55, but we're seeing another little band develop just around Acadiana. Notice a few more thunderstorms out there. That's all still ahead of our next cold front. We need that cold front to push through before things begin to settle down. That won't happen until tomorrow morning. As you notice, we still sit underneath a flash flood warning in effect until 7:45 for East and West Baton Rouge, Livingston, and St. Helena. Just because, again, that potential runoff with a chance for more heavy rainfall heading into the evening hours. Watch your future casts. As you notice, moving forward, 9 o'clock, we still got a couple storms, new roads, Point Capee, East and West Feliciana. Well, guess what? More heavy rainfall possible heading into those hours just before midnight. After midnight, it shifts a little bit closer to areas such as Ascension, Tangipahoa, and I-55. And then obviously Livingston Parish also seeing a few more showers out there. Front should be pushing through by tomorrow morning as you head to work. Far enough south that we're going to get a little bit of a lull from the heavy rainfall. It's going to be short-lived because that same front is going to actually stall out and stick around for the entire weekend, meaning we still have a pretty good chance for some rain for Saturday and Sunday as we'll bring those rain chances back to that likely category. Notice overall rainfall for the next 24 hours, most likely in that half-inch to inch range. As you see here, again, a possibility of an inch here, maybe 4/4600ths of an inch around Point Capee and New Roads. As you see here, tomorrow, isolated showers possible. We'll look for more storms on Saturday and Sunday. Next cold front arrives going into very late Monday, early on Tuesday. So New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, look for a couple stronger storms out there. Stay weather aware, chance for more heavy rainfall. But then as soon as that front dries through, our temperatures quickly drop and we'll get back to some sunshine heading into early next week. But because there is that potential for more rain tonight, still underneath that flash flood watch until 6 a.m. Here you go, 7-day forecast, and looking at the big picture out there, you'll notice that as we kind of move along, still very soggy across the board. We've got 70 with the chance for an isolated shower tomorrow. Rain chance is still very high through New Year's Eve, even going into very early on New Year's Day. Once that front clears, well, we get back to some sunshine, highs in the upper 40s and lower 50s, and overnight lows back below freezing. A very cool start to the new year. We'll be right back.
The Fiesta Bowl is only 5 days away, and UCF looks to complete back-to-back undefeated seasons and shut down the Tigers. Well, the Knights should be concerned because today's bad weather couldn't stop the Tigers from heading out to Phoenix, Arizona, only delayed their flight as they left campus this evening. Chester Boucher has more.
The LSU Tigers shipped up and loaded out for Arizona as they take on UCF in the Fiesta Bowl. It's the first meeting between the Tigers and the Knights, and it's the first time LSU will play in the Fiesta Bowl.
As soon as you get to where you're going, take them off. You'll be good. How we doing?
Despite the weather delay and leaving later than expected, LSU's quarterback Joe Burrow and Devin White both locked in and ready to go. LSU's 19th straight bowl appearance is a streak that stands as 4th longest in college football, behind Virginia Tech, Georgia, and Oklahoma. Against UCF, the Tigers will face a top 25 team for the 8th time in 2018, and LSU has never beaten 4 top 10 teams in the same season. Reporting for your Go Nation, I'm Chessa Boucher.
Thanks, Chessa. And as the Saints enter their final regular season game versus the Panthers, this will be their last opportunity to see the field, a dress rehearsal before the playoffs. Backup QB Teddy Bridgewater is excited to see the field, and getting him some game time experience could help the Saints down the road.
What if Drew Brees has an issue? What if he, in a key playoff game, he gets hit head-to-head and he's out for concussion protocol, and you got to finish, getting Bridgewater some work will be beneficial. So I think this game will at least, not necessarily whether they win, what's the completion percentage, but how things flow a little bit on what they ask him to do would have a lot to say about whether they decide to pay him and how much they decide to pay him.
Let's see if the Saints can pull this off, get that 14th win. It'll be the most in franchise history.
Yeah, we hope so. All right, so we're not winning with this weather, Jesse.
No, things are actually going to improve a little bit overnight. A lot of areas are seeing some significant water out there, and that is the concern out there. Flash flooding will remain a possibility until early morning, but at least it looks like for us here in the capital area that things are going to start to kind of wind down a little bit. Rainfall rates in the half-inch to inch category versus the multiple inches per hour. North Shore, well, right now they're seeing a ton of rainfall. And again, if you have to head in that direction, just kind of watch out. We're keeping an eye on our rivers and streams, and luckily for us, I think we're going to be fine.
All right, definitely. All right, thank you for joining us. Our coverage continues tonight at 10. Until then, you can always go to brproud.com for news, weather, and sports. Yes, even some entertainment there anytime you want it. Have a good night.